and welcome to another episode of Three Crones and the Woo Woo. First show for 2020. We have two crones present. Two crones, count them. Two crones.
Yes.
Krista's having a little bit of a problem with her internet at the moment. She's going to join us as soon as that magically gets fixed. So send all your good juju to Krista's internet and get that flowing again, if you will. So hello and welcome. For those of you tuning in, please give us a like, give us a comment, give us a share, and have some fun with us today. Invite one of your friends in. So we're gonna try this. Hi! The crowd has manifested. You guys get so good so fast.
Yeah, Jen came running up to help me.
Awesome. Our little angel Jen. How are you all doing today?
I am great. I need to shut the door just a pinch. There we go.
Okie dokie.
Well, I have people downstairs, so I'll hear them up here. It echoes up.
Gotcha.
But I'm doing great. Happy New Year. Happy
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year. Oh my gosh. This is our first show of 2022, and we had two crones for the top of the show, Krista.
But that's pretty good because then that's two.
Yeah.
Another two. So
Right.
that makes
Today it's number 2 or 11 too.
Yes.
there we go. Look at all those twos. It was meant to be.
It was. Because I mean, it's not even a whole minute in and you're in. So I mean, it was just, yeah. So Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining in and watching today. Oh my gosh. How was the new year for you guys? Krista, how was your new year? You got it before the rest of us.
I did have it before you guys. However, I had it later than, in previous years. It's so much fun. So I have to tell you, it is so much fun celebrating New Year's in multiple time zones. And because the perspective that you gain is just phenomenal. So for me, it was very quiet ultimately because we're not allowed to have more than 2 people over.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, okay, well, there you have it. But we stayed in and we were watching Lord of the Rings because they have fireworks here.
Uh-huh.
And Ramage, our dog, does not like fireworks like a lot of dogs. So we have a tendency when we know that there are going to be fireworks, we watch things that we know can be loud, and we get him started early in the day. But the fireworks were amazing. They were just individual private fireworks. It wasn't like a city thing or anything, but it was really kind of cool to watch the fireworks go off throughout the evening. And then at midnight, there's one street that was like right window view for us that had about 30 minutes worth of fireworks.
Wow.
And it really was. It was and so, it was great. We enjoyed it. We just had a really quiet New Year's. So
that's nice.
It is nice.
And Ramage okay in the end with all those that half-hour display?
Yeah, he did. I use it's called 4th of July. It's the little chewies, treats, and I give him that. But ultimately, he's just deaf. There's
a blessing.
He's in his 90s. The dude is like, he's an old man.
Yeah.
And so, because he's about 13, 14.
Yeah, that's what my dog too, around that age.
And so, he doesn't hear quite like he used to. And so, we're very thankful. Or else he just doesn't care. I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad it was fun, and I'm glad you got fireworks. Damaris, how was your New Year's?
It was nice. We didn't have fireworks. I mean, some people had some fireworks around their houses, but it wasn't like a show, like what you were saying, Krista, like a 30-minute show. It wasn't like that. But we just the kids were home. We had champagne. We watched the ball drop, and we just, just us, the kids and my husband and I. Nobody came over. Same thing. The numbers are going up in New York, so everybody is being extra cautious.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love this, guys. Thank you. I want to thank you all so much for the numbers going up.
Why?
Just really want to put that out there to everybody. I appreciate another added thing that I have to think about for my trip back to drop Genevieve off for college.
Right?
Yeah.
Just bring your snorkel mask. It'll be fine.
Yeah, thank God for N95s. That's, I was just like, oh my goodness. I'll just, put glitter. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that. Then I really couldn't breathe.
Bedazzle it. Do it.
I can bedazzle it and look just all sparkly.
Right?
Be a disco ball.
Like last week, I think it was, we went out for brunch, and this lady had this absolutely gorgeous black diamond mask on. I'm sure it gave absolutely no protection whatsoever because it was kind of netted.
Good.
And she was the hostess welcoming everybody into the restaurant. I'm like, how are you getting away with that right now? Nobody's got the gumption to say anything unless they say something and cause a scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
We've
been watching those numbers, by the way. So I just want you all to know we are very much in awareness.
I'll bet. Awesome. Well, I want to say hello. Well, first of all, my New Year's.
Yes, good. I was going to ask.
I've been driving DoorDash for pin money. How many out there are old enough to know what pin money is?
I do.
Right? So I've been driving DoorDash for pin money, and we were originally going to go to this really nice private.
Oh, she froze. Oh, there.
And it just didn't seem like the fiscally responsible thing to do. So instead, I drove DoorDash for New Year's Eve, and man, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I didn't see any parties. I don't know if it's because whoever was throwing a party already had it handled and didn't need any last minute stuff. But it was mostly just, quiet people alone, or just 2 or 3 people hanging out. So it's been a different kind of New Year's, I think, for everybody. You know?
So DoorDash, that's fun. My oldest son, Zachary, he drove for DoorDash for a while, and he said that it was a good time. He always enjoyed doing that. So yes.
Sue.
Yes. Sue knows. For those of you who don't know what pin money is, back in World War II, steel was so precious to make, we needed it for airplanes and tanks and all that kind of stuff, that it was in very, very short supply. So, and back then we didn't really have a whole lot of department stores that made clothes for you to wear. Usually your family made your clothes, like your mother or your grandmother, and pins were made out of steel. So they got really, really expensive. So women would set aside special savings just to buy pins so they could clothe their families. And I love little bits of history like that. There's way too much useless information in my head. So let's put some more in.
Yeah, that's education.
No, that's awesome stuff, because those are things really that we need to actually remember. We think that those small nuances are things that are of the past that we may never see again, and you hope you won't see it again.
Right.
But you need to remember those, those little tidbits, pin money, and just those, they're trivial and they're great for trivia,
Yeah.
Right.
I'll have you on
Well,
my trivia team there, Gayle.
hey, I got another one for you real quickly. My mother was fond of the saying, doesn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Yep.
Right. And that comes from back when really, really poor people would collect their urine and sell it to the leather tanners, because urine is used in the process of tanning leather. Right.
Wow. I didn't
And
know that.
if you were really, really, really poor, your house wouldn't have any windows because glass was so expensive.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you didn't want to have an open window or an open hole.
Yeah.
Because of course an elements in.
Yeah.
The other thing that urine is good for setting is wool.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
love
know
it when
any
I
of
learn
that.
new things.
Yeah,
There's
there you go.
one more. I get to take a nap.
One more new thing.
If I learn
There we
2 new
go.
things in a day, my brain is taxed. I need a nap.
That's it. I'm done.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, let us begin with Miss Damaris today, because there's all kinds of movements going on up above.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so there is a lot going on, but I'm just going to talk about the Sun in Capricorn, Venus in Capricorn, and Pluto in Capricorn. So I'll break it down. So each sign represents something. I always say that. Capricorn represents power, authority, right? It's like the father figure, if you will. So it's power.
Mm-hmm.
So the test right now is if we're going to use the power for good or for bad, right? So there's, sometimes when people are very ambitious and they want to get ahead, they throw others under the bus, and then it just snowballs from there. They are selfish, if you will. Are we going to take the power and use it for good or bad? So that's a question. Then we have Venus. Same thing with Venus. Is a conflict between the soul and the personality, or the ego and the spirituality. Are we going to love from a higher level of a higher level, right? With compassion, with kindness, or are we going to love from the lower level, which is selfish, right? We can think about the Taurus and the Libra, like I've said that before, because one is the lower level, one is the higher level. Then we have Pluto. Pluto has to do with destruction and then rebuilding. It also has to do with bringing down the house of cards. Anything that's old, any systems that are old that do not work anymore for the benefit of all, has to collapse. So it's bringing down the house of cards. We had the same alignment in January of 2020. So 2 years ago, we had, and there was other planets that were added to that, but the same exact alignment was there in January of 2020. So it's almost like we are revisiting January of 2020. If you think back, that's when the pandemic started, right? Like the first.
Yeah, I was sick in December, and then by March that they called
it was
closing
the shutdown,
down.
right? So it's almost like we're mirroring the same thing that happened in 2020 with all the numbers going up. Hopefully we don't have those numbers that they were calling. I mean, I know in New York, it was like an epicenter. And, hundreds of people died per day. They were showing us that on TV.
Yeah.
So hopefully we don't have that same kind of situation again. Are we taking more precautions than we were before? I mean, before, at the beginning, nobody really knew what was going on. And so we were taking precautions, but then it's like almost like we forgot about it, right? And we started going back to normal, or not really, doing the right thing, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So are we going to see the same thing of, the first, when it first happened, the pandemic in 2020? Hopefully not. So that's where we're at right now, because it's the same alignment, but there's a lot of things happening with, each of us, and collectively we have to sort of, again, work collectively, work together, work for the betterment of everybody else. We have to respect each other instead of fighting or having those scenes like you were talking about, right? I mean, I've seen a couple of those like that have gone viral, where a girl on and I don't know if you spoke about it the last time, but
Yeah.
people on a plane, and just people get really crazy, you know, which I don't know. I don't know if that's helping the situation, to be honest. That's not really being compassionate towards another. We are all in this together, you know, and we all have to work together.
So that is a difference. So I think between 2020 and now is that I do have a sense that people are working more in understanding this is a we, not me situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have more people speaking out in terms of, so this is what the science is showing us. This is what we're understanding. Granted, we're still learning,
Yeah.
but people, I think, are more open and more willing and more, they're adapting.
But you still see those people that they call them Karens, if you will. You still see that, you know.
I feel bad for people that are actually named Karen.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's what they call it, like a Karen, right?
Yeah.
And you see them all the time, and I'm just like, you know, I'm like speechless when I see these things, because I'm just like, my gosh, you know, this is the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be coming together, working together, collaborating together, you know, getting through this together, not fighting amongst each other.
Yeah.
There comes the Venus and the love and the compassion, and you know what I mean? There goes, you know, some people in power might abuse their power rather than, you know, doing, you know, the good for everybody else, right? So, and then, again, the Pluto energy is collapsing everything that doesn't work. That's going to take years to actually, you know, be rebuilt, be brought down and then rebuilt. And that's where the collective, all of us together, rebuilding the planet eventually, that's where, you know, all the healers and everybody that, you know, can offer help to another, that's when we really are going to step into who we are at that point. Not right now, because we're still going through this mess, right?
Yeah.
But in the future, we're going to be called upon to help others. And so we need to really be grounded and be kind and come from that place of love and compassion and understanding that, you know, we're going to be called for later on. And so we have to sort of like hold on the fort, so to speak, you know, and that's what I personally have been working on the last few months, because, you know, if we fall apart and we're the healers, then who's going to help, you know, when we really need it, right?
That's right.
That brings me to the 11 vibration, and I'm going to bring it into a different form today. So if you think about the one, right? The one, you begin life in the first incarnation, you begin with the one, you become, you know, independent, you become a leader, you can become aggressive. Talk about that Capricorn energy in the negative, right? You can become aggressive. But then you go through all of these incarnations to get through the 11th incarnation. So now at the 11th incarnation, you've already been that selfish kind of person. You've already abused your power, so to speak. And now you're coming back around, excuse me, from a higher perspective now, from a higher level at the 11th incarnation. Now you come and you're going to collaborate. You're going to work in partnerships, which is the 2. You're going to work in partnerships with other people. You're going to be the light that lights the world. And that's what's required of an 11th incarnation. It's like there's more expected of you because you've been around the block, so to speak. You've been through all of this, you know, and you've learned hopefully the lessons and your karmic debts from the first incarnation all the way through the 11th incarnation. At that place, at that level, you know, it's really, when you think of the 11 is ruled also by Uranus, which is the planet of the awakener. The awakener means that you have awakened, you have learned a lesson, and you know better. I usually say people that know better and don't do better are making a mockery. Are we making a mockery? You know what I mean? For myself, I try to have integrity with everything that I do and the work that I do. And I do the best that I can from where I am to not, you know, repeat lessons or, you know, give people the wrong information or do the wrong thing by people, because I do not want to start all over from scratch. And that's what happens. You know, we will repeat those lessons. We'll owe that debt, that karmic debt. That's has to be repaid. That's Saturn, actually, the Lord of Karma, will teach you those lessons all over again. But back to the 11, we have to stand in that vibration of being the light, showing other people the way, because we've already been there, so to speak. 11 is the first master number, because it is, that's the first one. So sometimes, like, I'm an 11 life path, and a lot of the times my vibration goes down, especially with what's happening all over. It goes down, my vibration, but then I have to snap out of it, and I have to say, wait a second, I've been there, done that. I don't want to repeat that. I have to stand in a higher state of consciousness, and then I snap out of it. It could take me a day or two, but I snap out of it, because I'm still human.
Right?
Really? You mean you're not Superwoman?
No.
No, we thought you had this handled, Damaris. Come on.
Oh, please. Really? Huh. Well, I guess we all just need to go home, right?
I guess my hero worship is misplaced, apparently.
I mean, again, it's like, once we, like us, right? We've studied, spirituality. We, it's not just about studying, it's also integrating it into our own lives and embodying it, and being the light, and also being, it's almost like the man in the mirror. I love that song. You have to look at the man in the mirror and start with you to make that change first. When you look at the 11, right? It's like a mirror. And so again, it's like, I don't want to look into that mirror and see what I've been through already and repeat it again. I want to do better. I want to go into other incarnations and, go into other master numbers, if you will, and, but to do that, you have to do the right thing. You have to love from the higher place, and, and be it. Be who you want to, be the change you want to see in the world.
That's right. Yep. Be that change.
Awesome.
Wise words.
Yes.
Wise words.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we all get caught up in, yes, you and I, Gayle, were making jest and, little tongue in cheek. And so with the sarcasm about healers and those teachers that are, we're supposed to have all the answers. We're supposed to be the ones that, show up and it's like, oh yeah, we got this all handled. No, we don't suffer from human experiences.
Oh, all my shadow work is done.
We do, but we still are supposed to be held at a higher vibration.
Yeah, but I think ultimately, it with that whole tongue-in-cheek aspect of it, because we mentally know that we're held a little bit more accountable.
Yes.
We have a tendency, I think, to not allow ourselves or give ourselves that permission that, hey, it's okay. Just because, you're having a human moment.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing those human emotions.
Yeah.
As, the caveat to that is, are you experiencing those human emotions and being mean to people? Or are you experiencing those human emotions and just experiencing them?
Well, I think it goes back to what Damaris was saying about knowing better and not doing better, right? Because if you know how to rise up out of that dense vibration and live with a higher vibration, right? And you just willfully choose not to and choose instead to get your vibe out of aggression and, and arrogance and stuff, a pox on you. You suck.
Yeah. And again, that could be that Capricorn on the negative side, right? We'll use that energy on the negative when we're aggressive, when we, throw others under the bus to get ahead, and we're not, being compassionate, I always tell people that, we're just having different experiences, we're just having different life experiences based on whatever we signed up for. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all knowing, the soul is all knowing. We just have amnesia when we come down here and we forget everything, so that we can go through the lessons, or we can go through the trials and tribulation and then the success, right? Ultimately. The Christ consciousness, I call it, which the Christ consciousness is also has to do with the 11. The one is it's like the self, right? And then the 11 is the Christ self. And the Christ consciousness is just a state of mind. I just want to say that. I don't want to say that we all want to become Christ. It's just to have that state of consciousness where we have the golden rule, right? And you speak about that all the time, Gayle, about doing unto others as we want done unto the self. And really that's the ultimate goal, is to be in oneness, to come from that place. We're all in this together. So why don't we just help each other out?
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
So I was reading a blog the other day that kind of struck me, mainly because of course we had our new year.
Yeah.
And then we had new moon.
Yes.
So you have these
Capricorn.
you have all these back-to-back new things, right? Which is all about new beginnings.
Right.
And one of the things that the blog was saying, it's Elizabeth Prue wrote it, is that she was it I may be misspeaking who it was. So let me just say what it was.
Yes.
And we won't go with who it was. What I was reading was that because our new moon was right there at the beginning, so many people may be having this sense that through this month of January, that they're still shedding, if you will, the remaining, the leftovers of 2021. And also even prior, like 2020, because there's so much carryover. Just because it's pandemic related.
We have all the same alignment right now.
And that's what you were saying, is it's a similar alignment, which then makes sense to how this is. But one of the things that I liked in the way the blog, continued and ended, was you're also have this opportunity to be lighter, to make that choice. Absolutely. To be lighter, to make the choice of, okay, those were the lessons that we learned. I don't need to keep repeating them.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Let's continue to grow, and let's continue, to move forward. And I know that thankfully, I feel like the people that watch what we say and come to see us all, every week, they have an understanding that this is about a growing experience. Yeah. It's not about replay.
Yeah, no.
Right.
We aren't encouraging people to hit the rewind button and let's play it all over again.
No. I get the impression that it's this realignment, right, that we're experiencing now from 2 years ago. There's this door that we couldn't get through 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, let's go on a journey. Let's gather up the tools. Let's get some knowledge here and come back to the door. Now what can we do?
Yeah, let's go in now.
In 2020, when this first occurred, this alignment, we were all like perhaps in fear mode because we really didn't know what was happening. But now, 2 years later, we should have more an understanding. We should be more aware, right? And so are we going to repeat again the same scenario of 2020, or are we going to do it different? If I had a theme for what I'm saying today, are we going to get it right this time? That would be my theme. From the last 2 years, are we going to get it right this time? Or are we going to repeat 2020 again?
I have a sense that we aren't repeating.
We'll definitely not repeat.
It feels so different. So for me, 2020, the end of 2019 and going into 2020 was a really heavy, weight. And then the pandemic happened. I was dealing with so much more, and it was all right here. And I can honestly say that for me right now, I can breathe.
Us, right? There's people that may repeat though, because they didn't become aware. you know.
Well, yeah, and
Well, I
they're
think
gonna-
along the lines of repeating, right? In 2020, we thought that we were going to shut everything down for 6 weeks and be back at it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we now know that, first of all, shutting everything down was not the way to handle it,
No.
right?
No.
And
It
we
ruined so
also,
many businesses.
yeah, it really did. But we also have this almost global shift now in how we do business,
Yes.
right? I
Yes.
mean, DoorDash is one aspect of it. Instacart,
Zoom,
shopping
you know,
online,
yeah,
all of that.
online.
I mean, the
Yeah.
big industries right now are not what we used to expect it being, right? Like
Yeah.
corporations and all
Yeah.
these people in cubicle farms and all that
Yes.
kind of stuff. But it's really moved more to delivery drivers and service providers, like fast
Yes.
food and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we actually have the freedom, because of this new business structure, to explore more of our creativity and our own small business dreams
Yeah.
and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
we're not driving an hour in traffic to a cubicle farm and being
Yes.
stuck there for 8 hours, regardless of whether we've got 4 hours of work to do or not. And then driving in traffic where you're immersed in people's exhaustion
Oh
and
my gosh.
frustration
Yeah.
in literally rivers
Road
of,
rage.
of people that
Oh,
are
yeah.
just trapped together and not even realizing that their heads are vibing off of each other before we take that home and spew it all over our families.
Do you
That's
realize
a
how much
different
time
way of
is
living now.
wasted, though? Like in traffic, if we have 24 hours of the day and you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours, perhaps going and coming, and then at work, that's pretty much your day. You come
Yeah.
home,
Yep.
you're tired, you make dinner, and it's starting all over again. And
Yeah.
it's such a vicious cycle, the rat
Yeah.
race, so to speak.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well,
It
let's
is.
find out from Miss Krista today how the crystal of the week can help with that.
That's it. So the crystal of the week is kyanite. And I have to tell you, I have on my kyanite earrings.
Those are blue?
They're blue kyanite. Yes, yes, yes. And then I have a blue
Yeah, I
blade
have
of
those.
kyanite.
Nice.
So this bad boy went to yoga with me today and practiced yoga with me. I had it in my bra. And actually, this is one of those comfortable ones that because of it's a narrow and thin blade,
Yeah,
I
you've
can
got
put it in
beautiful
my
breasts
bra.
except for that flat spot.
Yeah.
And you can just put it in the bra. And the sports bras are really convenient because, of course, it really holds it.
Mm-hmm.
But so it was really cool because I brought it intentionally. And you're probably like, okay, Krista, why are you sharing this? Because it was one of the things about kyanite, and it doesn't matter really what color it is it's all about balance. And kyanite, it comes in several colors. Blue's the most common. Comes in black, green, and I want to say there's like a pinky peachy red.
Yeah, it's like orangish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a variety of colors. That one's a hard one to find.
Mm-hmm.
It's found typically where they mine aluminum or aluminium, depending on how you want to say it.
I love that.
But it's a really great balancer. And so I brought it with me and I wore it during my yoga practice today with the intent, setting the intention of what is it that really, because it is the crystal of the week this week, and it is the crystal of the week next week. Mm-hmm. So there you guys go. We have 2 weeks of it.
Yes.
And because it is the beginning of the year, and because our planets are aligned the way they are, I now am understanding, and because I did yoga with it, mm-hmm. I have a better understanding of where, the messaging. So one of the words that came up is about adaptability. And kyanite helps us with adaptability. It also helps us with recall. So, me with my whole mushy brain, it really does help. But The other aspect is, let's go back into what Damaris was saying in terms of recall. Recalling the lessons that not just we as an individual have experienced, but also connect to those lessons that we as a human race, if you will, have learned. Because we have a lot of things that over the last year or 2 years that really and truly we have learned. We've learned to adapt to our new situation, whatever it may be, whether it was kicking and screaming or whether it was like, hey, with joy and let's, see
Adventure.
what's possible.
Yeah.
And let's have an adventure with it. Or whether it's been, a negative where it's like you were forced into it because of, the traumas of what's been happening around. I mean, there's so many people have a story, and they're all valuable. There, no person's story is at all not important.
We could all write history. Each of them.
We all are history. We all are part of something really significant, not something that's just a blip on the radar in history. This is going to be something that definitely historians are going to be enjoying and writing and teaching and talking about, because how it affected the entire globe.
Yeah.
Can I break in just for a second on that?
Yes, ma'am, please.
I was reading something yesterday about the Justinian Plague. Are you familiar with the Justinian Plague?
No.
Okay. Well, it has to do with the time period where Byzantium was replaced with Constantinople and that type of thing, right?
Okay.
So during that time, the classical age where people were in cities and being artistic and creative and all that kind of stuff, this plague happened and it wiped out most of the people that were in the cities. Like 40 to 60% of society passed away. But the most of them were in the cities along the trade routes. So both, coming down the wall from China and then into Africa through the rivers and so on. Okay. Yeah. The important thing about this is with all of those people from the cities dying off, then only the people out in the rural areas ended up having any lifestyle or power. Wow. And that's when Europe switched over into the feudal system. It literally changed the way the world did business, because it went from being the classical age to the feudal age because of this pandemic killing off so many people in the cities. And I think that's similar what's happening now.
Yeah. Well, and it happened also with influenza. If you really think about it, we ended a war, and yes, we ended a war on a really low note, because we had we had a pandemic of influenza that swept through. And so a lot of things shifted and a lot of things changed. And if you really want to see it, watch Downton Abbey. No joke, because they talk about that aspect, how World War I and influenza really shifted and changed the dynamic of the feudal system. And so, we're due for shifts. We're due for change.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We aren't listening.
We're in it.
So think about the Kyanite. It helps us, yes, with communication. And that's one of the ones that I usually get a great, a great tingling, if you will. But this one is about really adapting. It's about really, it's time for this, at least this week. And I think even into next week, and there might be something different. It's about adapting. And it doesn't mean that we have to pivot or we have to, pack everything up and move, or, to a different location or anything.
Yeah. Nobody's asking you to burn your blankets.
No, it just means to look at what you've been doing and maybe you find a different way. If things aren't really working the way you want them to go, all you need to do is maybe take a side step right or a side step left, look at it a little bit differently and try something new. So if you brush your
1%
teeth with
shift in
your right
perspective.
hand, if you try brush your teeth with your right hand, brush your teeth with your left hand.
Yikes.
See
I
if
don't know how that's gonna work.
I'm gonna hurt myself.
I know I would do the same. But sometimes it's something little. I don't want to scare anyone into thinking, and because there is so much fear going around, it's like, okay, so think about that fear. Is it really fear, or is it false evidence appearing real? Is it, is it something that it just means that, oh wait, I need to reevaluate what's important to me, or I need to reevaluate how I'm doing something. Think about different possibilities and adapt.
Excellent.
Balance, find your balance. Usually, even if finding your balance is lifting up one foot and standing on the other, right? And just alternating. And that's what I'm doing as I'm talking. You're like, what is she doing? I'm alternating my feet and I'm balancing. Think about it just as something, doing that, finding that difference, finding the balance in the adaptation. Maybe that's what it is. I get that, with everything that we're letting go and everything that we're trying to change, and, people are nervous that we're just on repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I don't feel like we're on rinse and repeat because I feel like we're a step ahead of the game. We have knowledge this time. And I think people are starting to listen to knowledge rather than listen to white noise.
Yeah.
And so my sense is that we're, okay, wait, we can do this. Yes. But that's kind of where I'm going with kyanite, folks. And if you have some, slip it in your bra, see what it says to you. Woo-hoo. Or in your pocket, in your little stone pocket, your crystal pocket, right?
And here's a little visual of the different kinds of kyanite that are available. Excellent. The blue, the black, the green. I couldn't find any pictures of the orange.
Yeah, that one is I saw one and it was not a good picture. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to use that because you can't really, you couldn't really tell a lot. But
yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
But, awesome. Well, thank you for that. That's freaking amazing. I like how many different things can be pulled out of any individual crystal, really. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're going with adaptability. And then next week, we're going to do mainly black kyanite, right?
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then we'll see how that works. But they all give a very similar energy.
Yeah.
And so it's really powerful stuff. But yeah. So what do you have to share with us, Miss Galesy?
Well, first of all, we have the card of the day. So here we go. Today's card of the day from Galaxy Tarot is the Four of Wands. Love the Four of Wands. Oh my gosh. And so let's see here. Today's message. Today is a day for gratitude and celebration. Yes, we got through it. Yay on us. All right, we've gotten through this last 2 years. You're beginning to see the fruits of your labors. Things are starting to sprout. Things are starting to grow, right? Enjoy them. Celebrate them. Remember, you didn't get to where you are all alone, so show your appreciation. Yes, so that's today's message. So, as things cross your mind, I know this is true for myself all the time. I will think about a person and think about how much they mean to me and think about all the nice things that they've done for me. And then I have a new thought and I move on into the next phase of my day, right?
Yeah.
Take that moment to actually reach out to that person and say, hey, thinking of you. Hey, I just was thinking about this time that we did this, and I just wanted to let you know that was a really good memory for me. It doesn't have to be big and complicated, but reach out and show people that you appreciate what they've done for you. And it doesn't have to be, in the last 2 weeks, You've done wonderful things for me. No, it's like,
Yeah.
you know what? You're somebody who's really contributed to my life. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that's today. That's today. So, but what I want to talk about this week is declaring your aligned future. Now, this is total Capricorn energy. This is total, you know what? We're doing it. Let's do this, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah. And it's like we had talked about a little bit earlier. It's not about that taking inventory of necessarily all of those things that we learned from over the last couple of years and dragging them into 2022 with us, right?
Yeah.
It's about, like the card just said, it's about appreciating how you got here and taking action going forward, right? What is it that you want to have your 2022 be about? This is not about saying how badly you hated 20 and 21.
That's right.
This is about going, oh, you know, I would really like more adventure. I would really like to travel more. I would really love to spend more time with the people that fill my heart the most, right? Now, that's not to say that I didn't do any of that stuff in 20 or 21, or that was completely missing from my life in 20 and 21. But just that these are the things that I want to have. And these are the things that I declare for myself that I want in my future, right? So then you take a second step and you go, okay, well, how do I align with that? Well, if I had those things in my life, who would I be? How would I be being? Right? It reminds me of one of my favorite stories about how I got my manuscript through to Barry Manilow to have him read it. Right? I was staying at a timeshare, and I thought, you know what? If I was somebody who was writing a script, or for something that he was going to appear in, right? I would call a messenger and have it delivered, right? So I did that. I stepped into who I would be if this was already a deal unfolding, right? And from that energy of, yes, this needs to be in his suite in the next 2 hours, those people that I partnered with took action based on, this is authentic, right? This is happening. I got to get this over here. He's waiting for it, right? And it did. It got there. I followed up with a call to his office on that following Monday, and his executive director was like, "Did you send a manuscript to his room this weekend?" And I was like, "Oh, I got there. Good." It got there. And she's like, "Yeah, they've been talking about you all day." And then I got scared. I'm like, it was good. But the whole point of that being is that you really got to take the effort to think about who you would be being if those things already were happening, and get rid of this push and pull energy of, oh, when that happens, then I'll be that. No. Step into who you would be being, and then it cannot help but be added to you. And people will interact with you based on who you're vibing as.
That's right.
Inside of that aligned future. And it's magical what shows up when we do that, right? And, like Damaris said, there's a lot of things going on in the universe right now among the planets. We're dealing with kind of a waypoint, if you will, with this mirrored alignment from 2 years ago, right? Take a little bit of stock in the things that you've learned about yourself, about your family, about your society, about your community.
Yeah.
Choose what things that you would like going forward, and then step into who you would be if those actually did already exist, right? So if you discovered that you really enjoyed a weekly Zoom meeting with your family, right? And that's kind of gone by the wayside because it got boring. It got, so-and-so couldn't make it that week, so we just kind of gave up on it. But you really enjoyed that, then do something new. Start fresh. guess what? This Friday, we're all going to meet. We're going to play Uno on Zoom. Whoever wants to be there will show up. And maybe it's not just your family this time. Maybe it's a bigger community. Maybe it's your friends. But taking action in that Capricorn manner, right?
Yep.
Taking action on the faith that no matter what happens, it's all going to work out, because you're stepping into who you say you want to be and aligning the present to generate that, to render that forward, if you will. Right?
Can I add something? You
Yes.
also can align yourself with who is vibrating at the same, wavelength.
Yes.
So you're going to go into, you're going to be collaborating with other people that are in that same alignment as
Yes.
you.
Yep.
That's a
Yes,
really, really
definitely.
great point, because I know I've seen and I've been one of those people that go, I have this future and I know who I want to be then, but I've got all these barnacles of humans that are just glommed onto me, and how do I can't get there because they're here. Well, when you step into your there, their
They fall
Velcro
off.
fails to adhere any longer. They will naturally fall away.
100%.
Right. So you can't blame those barnacles
The barnacles
from holding you back, right?
Yep.
Nope.
You've got to shift your vibration so they're not magnetic to you anymore.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Thanks for putting that in.
I also want to add one more thing before you
Sure.
continue.
Yeah.
So if you look at 2020, the year is a 4-year, which is a Pluto ruled. The 4
Okay.
is ruled by Pluto, and also it's 2020 vision. So 2020 was opening our eyes, right?
Yes.
Then you have 2021, which was a 5-year, and that's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is considered the messenger of God. What messages did we get? Each of us individually and globally, right? Because it's happening globally. And then the 2022 is a 6 vibration ruled by Venus. Venus always wins. Love always wins. And by the end of this year, there's going to be such a shift from, from wherever we are to that compassion by the end of this year, because it's ruled by Venus. So we're either going to go into that vibration or we're going to suffer the consequences of not going into that vibration.
So let's think
written.
about us just going into the vibration.
Yes.
Rather than the suffering, let's already see us there.
Yes.
We're already there in that
Right.
vibe. Right?
Yes. And if you were living in a world of compassion, how would you behave?
Isn't that nice?
How would it feel?
We should ask that question.
How would it look?
Yes.
All right, folks. There you go. Start answering.
Yeah.
How would a world of compassion feel? How would you be? How would it look? What's the vision of that world of compassion?
Amazing.
Merging on the freeway will be a completely different thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because people would be letting each other in.
That's
yes,
it.
Go ahead.
We'd remember, please. We'd remember, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We'd remember, we would do those courtesies of opening doors. I realize a lot of people take issue with that, but for me, that's always just been a courtesy, opening doors, holding doors for each other, saying, good day to people and doing it with a smile.
Right. We might actually walk down the street and look at other people in the eye and say hello.
Wow.
That's
as we pass them by. Wouldn't that? Wow.
The phones actually, almost changed all of that. Everybody's like this, looking at their phone,
Yeah.
So now if we forget that for a little bit and we look at people face to face, maybe we'll have a different energy.
Yeah.
That how incredible would that be?
Yes. Okay, so everybody who's watching, in the comments, I want you to please put 1 or 2 little tidbits of what it would be like for you if we lived in a world of compassion, of kindness. All right. Of the root word passion means actually suffering, right? Like you're very passionate. Your heart aches for the people you love.
Yeah.
You're passionate about your art. You suffer for your art, starving artists, all of that.
Yeah.
So compassion is when people suffer together, right? when they ache for each other, when they're kind to one another, because I can feel your suffering and you understand my suffering. So that in that compassion, who would you be? How would you behave? How would things be different for you? Put those in the comments. All right, so we have some winner to acknowledge.
That's our last winner, right? For 2021, this one?
Yes, our last winner for 2021.
Woo!
Drum roll, please. Congratulations, Ada. Yes, hello. How you doing? Oh my gosh, this is really, really awesome. I'm really excited that you won again. And I'm gonna throw this out here. And I did not talk to the ladies, my fellow Crones, before doing this, but this just occurred to me. So I think Krista already knows what the hell I'm gonna do.
I think I know too.
Ada, I want you to reach out to all three of us. All three of us are going to give you a gifted reading of what we do. So you get 3 readings for being our last winner of 2021. And just reach out to us and schedule that whenever you're ready. All right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yay!
We're excited. Woohoo!
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Well, ladies, I want to take just a couple of minutes before we close out today. We've gone long so many times, I'm not sure what to do when we don't go long anymore. And just let everybody know what they can expect from each of you individually for 2022, what you're working on, what you're offering, what you're putting out there. So Damaris, go first, 2 minutes.
So I did a class, a whole year class. Every second Sunday of the month, and I had a gathering here, and I would teach different topics for the whole year. Ada was one of the students, by the way, and I'm starting a new one, different topics. So that's starting in March.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Krista?
That's awesome. So here I'm going to be doing some in-person stuff here in the Netherlands, and I'm going to start teaching a meditation class when I get back in February, and I am going to be teaching a crystal class, which I will also do online, because I know that I have some online people that want to take it. But I'm also going to start teaching Reiki again. I'm being called to start doing that again. So I am getting a sense. I would like to do my first Reiki class probably around spring, the spring equinox. I love the energy for that. So yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, in my wheelhouse, we have a few behind the scenes kind of things going on as far as putting together the 7-Figure Sunrise Summit ebook that will be for sale out there. I am also restarting the Spotlight, and we have a huge team for distribution. So if you would like to have your business interviewed by yours truly, and have those put in front of about 100,000 pairs of eyeballs, just a small amount, then just a little bit, then please reach out to me in Messenger, and we will get you on the schedule for doing so. I am really, really excited about who we're putting these things out with. So if you are a veteran-owned business, or you are a woo-woo owned, heart-centered business, reach out to me, and we will get you out there in front of so many people. It'll make your head spin. Awesome stuff. All righty. That's what I got going. And I want to make sure that we take the time to say thank you to our sponsors and contributors. As always, we have Krista Ducharme with Dimensional Healing with Krista on Facebook. We have Damaris Samolinski with Ask the Genie with Damaris Samolinski, and yours truly, Gayle Nicholson with Creative Command Coaching and Consulting. And as always, from all of us here at 3 Crones and the Woo Woo, thank you so very much for spending a little time with us today. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Make sure that you put those comments in there. If we lived in a world of compassion, what would that look like for you? All right. Thank you again. Take care, everybody. And congratulations on making it to 2022.